Hey guys, this is Holy Lightning here, creator of the Ultimate Armory Skyrim mod, and this is basically just a trailer to showcase what the Ultimate Armory is capable of. Now, to start things off, let's enter the trapdoor that is located in Breeze Home, which is the player home in Whiterun that you can purchase. There should be a trapdoor on the floor that leads to a place called the Hall of Residence, which is the first room in the armory. And this is how you access the armory. A few people have asked why there's no map marker to the armory directly, and that's because I have made it accessible to every single player home in the game instead of activating just a fast travelable, whatever you want to say, map marker to it. Like, Breeze Home is right here, Hedgeroom, Honeyside, Proudspire Manor, Severin Manor, and Valindrel Hall are all linked back to this room, so no matter what player home you use, except for the Dawnguard one as of right now. Something about a Dawnguard castle. I haven't actually had the liberty of playing through Dawnguard yet. But if you pick any of the 6 player homes, which includes the one from Dragonborn, which I think was one of the manors or something like that, and it also includes these blank spots right here are where the Hearthfire trapdoors are supposed to go. So if you've completely built and constructed a Hearthfire home, as soon as you've completely built them, the respective trapdoor for said Hearthfire property will appear in this room. You can use this room to transport back and forth between the different player homes as well easily, just in case you want to, for whatever reason. But be warned that you have to have, in the Hearthfire case, constructed the whole entire home, and own the key to the original property. Means you actually have to purchase the homes in order to be able to access them. It's how I protect against people breaking their game, or making it seem like they're cheating. So this is the first room. The next door right here should lead to the main focus of the armory, which this is the Armory Room. You should see a long hallway and rooms filled with mannequins on both sides of you in the first few rooms. This room on the left, this first room on the left, is a room that is completely loaded with mannequins that are supposed to include armor set. Ignore him. And are supposed to include every single mannequin for holding light armor sets in the game. These are all the vanilla ones, or to my knowledge, of complete sets that I know of. Now I know I'm missing a few. Some people might be crazy and want to showcase each and every different Whiterun guard armor thing, or something along the lines of that. I do not have those up yet, and if people want them, then I suppose I can add them later. But right now I have basic stuff like the Stormcloak armor, the Stormcloak officer armor, Thieves Guild, the Elven armor, glass armor, fur armor, all the sorts of different light armor sets. And if you go over to this room on the right, this is where the heavy armor sets are. Notice there's actually a couple less heavy armor sets in the game. There are also 4 special mannequins for custom armor sets if you so wish to display custom armors in whatever reason. And I notice you see M and F after each and every one of these, which basically just means one's a male mannequin, one's a female mannequin, and sometimes the armor sets look different depending on the gender of whoever's wearing it. So I've included both for people's viewing and collecting pleasures. Now if you go down here to the next set of rooms here, they look pretty empty.
How much farther do we have to run?
But
my cardio.
If you look over here in the corner, there actually are 2 mannequins in here left over. These rooms are actually meant for modded armor sets. So over here, the Black Worm armor and the Soul Collector armor actually aren't original armor sets in the vanilla game of Skyrim. So this is a room for light armor sets, and this over here is a room for heavy armor sets. And the reason they're mostly empty is because what I did with the vanilla armor sets, the mannequins are named specifically to what armor set, so you can actually tell what armor set it is when you go up to the mannequin and talk and open their inventory space without actually having to look at what it is. Plus, it's just a neat little feature. So if people want to request like armor set mannequins being put in these rooms, then I will probably have to go through a process of re-alphabetizing them and then put them in these rooms. If we have a gander over at the final set of rooms, we'll look at the right room in a second, but this is mainly the storage room. And this is probably one of the most influential spots, the second most influential spot in the armory. And this includes chests for every single vanilla item in the game, every single item category, like heavy gauntlets, heavy helmets, ingredients, keys and lockpicks, light armors, staves, swords, unobtainable items, war axes, war hammers, soul gems, basically every single different item category you can think of, except for miscellaneous items are just one separate thing, and ores and ingots are actually separate as well. So I have everything categorized here based upon their usefulness and what category they should fall under. So like weapons are also different, like over here I have a bows, I have, like I said, staves over here, swords, and etc, etc. The only things that aren't really separated is the clothing. I do have an amulets chest, and I'm really curious if people want like a separate thing for like enchanted items above each of these chests. I don't know if people need those or not, but I'll leave that up to them. Also, I noticed in clothing that if people want a difference between like circlets having their own chest too, or if they can just stay in clothing. Maybe I should have made like a jewelry chest, but then that's all up to what people need, but that's why rings and amulets are there. Maybe I should have made a circlets chest. Anyways, that's what this room is, and this next room over here is actually for modded items. So you can, if people are really super OCD about their collections, or really just like keeping things separate, then they can keep their modded items separate from their vanilla items, so they can tell what's originally supposed to be implemented in the game versus what isn't. So that it helps people in that respect. See, like, all of them are renamed modded too, so you can tell the difference. These are also included with clothing accessories, which are basically things like over here as well, where you can probably see light armor accessories, and there's probably a heavy armor accessories chest over here. This is stuff like when developers, for instance, like let me take a look at one of my followers over here.
I've got your back.
If where did they go? So
What do you want me to carry?
for example, like when people do like the earrings, for example, like the earrings and the extra like armor pieces, like the cape and stuff, like those are what I consider to be accessories. In her case, they're heavy armor accessories, but they have like, usually they have like shield icons and certain things like that, so you can put them in your respective chests over here. That's why I have 3 different chests in this one, and I'm pretty sure that's why they're separate, because they're not like an actual modded category in the original game, so I kind of gave them their own categorical chest. Now, this is what I deem to be one of the most useful rooms in this armory. This is what I like to call the utility room. In this room, you will find every single workstation in the whole entire game available in one place for easy access. Over here we have the Blacksmith Forge and the Sky Forge, and the reason I have both in here is because I read up somewhere, and I don't know how much this is entirely true, but I like to think it is, that some items can only be exclusively made in the Sky Forge versus the Blacksmith Forge, but I included both just for like viewing pleasure. I've got the grindstone over here, the workbench, the anvil is just another like repeat of like the forge. And then I got the tanning rack, I've got the smeltery over here. I don't think I've missed anything. I've got the cooking spit, I've got the oven from Hearthfire, I got the alchemy lab, and the arcane enchanter, and I believe that's everything. And one last thing, I couldn't add the Atronach forge in here because A, I didn't have enough room, and B, I know a lot of people that actually use the Atronach forge, so instead of placing a whole entire forge somewhere and trying to like resize one of these in the editor, I've included a handy little trap door that leads straight to the midden, and it should, emphasis on should, put you straight out right next to the Atronach forge in the very lower levels of, I believe, is the College of Winterhold? And if you look here, this is obviously the astronaut forge. And if you look here, the hatch should still go back to the ultimate armory. And there's one last bit of the armory. There's one last door over here that I would like to show. And I like to call this the Companion's Hall. Now, usually I like to use, with this place in particular, I like to combine the My Home is Your Home mod, and what I've done here is I've made like another hall of rooms, and what this hall of rooms has is different like named rooms for my companions. Right now these are just my companions right now, but let's go into Recorder's Room for instance. Each of these rooms is usually the same, but when you go inside of these rooms, they're all the same. When you go inside and they have a cozy little fireplace, they've got a chandelier up here, and they've got a wardrobe, and they've got a companion's chest just for whatever reason. If you want to put like companion related items in those chests for those specific companions, they got a bed over here, and you know, a little torches over by the doors just for a nice touch, I suppose. It's not really big and fancy, but it's meant to be a spot if you want to have like a companion just in a certain room, so when you dismiss them and you've actually combined this mod with the My Home is Your Home mod, they will actually stay in these rooms, and when they're out in the wild, they should actually be able to track their way all the way back into these rooms if you set these as your residences. It makes it easier for finding your companions, in my opinion, and to my knowledge, it completely works. I haven't had a problem with it yet. But, I think that about sums it up for the Armory. So, if you have any questions, you can leave them in the, comments section on the Bethesda mod pages and the Nexus mod pages for this, or you can also put it in the comment section below. I thank you for your continued support for everybody who has appreciated this mod, and I hope you all enjoy it as much as I did creating it. And if anybody has any future inquiries of what I should add here in the future, like I noticed like one of these walls I was able to like kind of look through, and some of the detection is kind of silly, but it's a fully functional thing. You shouldn't be able to like go through a wall or something like that, but like right here where you can kind of see through that, I just basically need to add like wall ends to these. But other than that, and maybe somebody inquired about where the weird thing with the floating chests in here, I think it's more of a personal preference personally, but if they added like a shelf or something underneath it, then people would appreciate it more. But other than that, if you have any other things that you feel need to be added, especially like the modded armor, I'd always love to see like new modded armor pieces, because I think some of them are interesting. Then I would love to start adding mannequins into these rooms, and like, go find some of these armors out for yourself, because some of them are, like, really cool. In other words, I'll try and fix this issue with that. I'm not sure why he just wants to play dead on the floor and just be one with the floor. But, other than that, I also have an issue where nav meshing beneath people's feet may fix the issue, because a lot of people are having issues with the mannequins kind of wandering and doing whatever instead of being like static entities like they are right now. And for some reason they're not actually stacked correctly. So I think if I do this certain command that, okay, yeah, it fixes them. So I'm not sure why they've been giving some people so many problems. That guy just likes to play dead for some reason, like I said, but it's probably something I gotta fix in the editor. Who knows? But, for the most part, if you have problems with the... I think I... Yeah, don't... Actually, maybe you shouldn't do that. Oopsie. Anyways, maybe you shouldn't do that. Make sure before you want to recycle these guys, I guess I should have said that beforehand. If you want to recycle the actors, make sure they're not wearing any armor pieces, because they will be just totally just obliterated. Gone, just disappearing into the void. So make sure you make sure that they don't have any armor sets already on them, take them off, then recycle them, then put them back on if you seem to be having some form of issue where they're like not where they should be, like this guy. But other than that, maybe I can try and fix that issue. I'm not sure yet, but I try and plan on finding out a way to fix it. Other than that, leave any requests open. I am open to try and do whatever I can for this and make it as user-friendly as possible. And hope to see y'all soon.